guys, my name is Pranav. So my topic is house price predictions. Okay, so we'll learn what all I have used here for 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 the structure heading. I can use the Python, and for front end CSS, JavaScript and HTML. For the back end, I have used a Flask. Okay. Now we'll get to know the work process of this, how it works. Okay. First we'll start to create a structure of this, and we'll get from Flask we'll create it to a server. Okay. From that server link will from this Postman application we'll link to it, and we'll create a front end app. Okay. We'll get to know the project architecture. From the data set, we'll create a model and we'll export it to a pickle file, and we'll link it to a server, and we'll test it, and we'll go for a front end view. Okay. So what all the structures I have used to create a model? Okay. Data cleaning, feature engineering, and dimensionality reductions. Okay. Now we'll straightly get into the code. Okay. So as I have got the file as a CSV, we got the data set. Okay. Then we'll start to clean it. Okay. By data cleaning, by the process of that. Okay. We'll clean the data where it will handle the non-applicable values. Fine. Where that will drop some types which are not applicable for this. Okay. As by this we get the sum. We get the sum. We get to know that here size has a 60 non-applicable values, and the bath has the 73 non-applicable values. Okay. Now we'll drop those by calling a def2.dropNA. Okay. Once we did that, we got to know that the location 0 and the bath will get a 0 value. After that we'll do the feature engineering. What is feature engineering? Okay, we'll add the features to the data to specify it. Okay, here we are adding a feature for the BHK. Okay, first we'll get those size with the unique values, and we'll apply a lambda function which it will split it. Okay, so we got to know that. So there are 2 to 18 BHK types. Okay, so what we'll call, which are the BHK more than 20. Okay, once we get to know that, we'll stop there and we'll go to the total square feet value. Okay, we'll now feature it to the total square feet value by defining a function which it will return true or false. Okay, once it is done, we'll start applying to a total square feet. Square feet apply. Okay, then we location, we got to know that. Fine. Then we add feature to the price per square feet. Okay, once we get to know that, here we got to know the price per square feet is minimum 2 lakhs. Okay, and the maximum is 2 crores. Okay, once we call the lambda function x, and we'll strip it. Okay, once we did, we got the major count of the location places. Okay, here as you can see, Whitefield has a 533 location places. Okay, where we'll specify the data which it is less than 10 data points. Okay, so by calling the sum, we got to know that there are 13k locations are there. Okay, from that, what we will do, we'll call the less than 10 locations and we'll drop it. So here are the list of the less than 10 locations. Okay. Once we drop it, we'll get the finalized data here, as you can see here. Fine. So what we will do, we'll call a function with a head which it is more than 300 or less than 300. Fine. Once we did it, we go to the next process called as outlier detection. Okay. So what is outlier detection? We'll get to know that. Okay. So how it works is, it will just remove by using a standard deviation or a mean. Okay. Here you can see that the minimum is 267 count. Okay. With the maximum value of 176470 maximum value count. So we'll start to remove that. Okay. By the standard deviation and the mean process. Okay. Once we started removing that, we just reduce the data set from 10242 with the 7 columns. Okay. Will now, for the location, how does this 2 BHK and 3 BHK properties prices look like? So we'll scatter the plot where so here we'll take a specific place called as Rajaji Nagar. Okay. We'll scatter it. Here you got it as a where places like this green and blue dot are simultaneously at one place. Okay. Similarly, we'll go with a place called as Herbal. Okay. Here here also you can find so many places are lying on the same place. So we'll scatter it. Okay, by removing that as a outliers. So here you can see the output where you can get to know that from this red option we have removed that. Okay. So once it is done, before and after of the for that removal, here you can see that here the simultaneously value line has been removed on that kind of thing. Okay. So next we'll go that we'll plot that. Once we plot it, we got to know that 5,000 price per square feet is high with a minimum of 20,000 square feet. Okay. Now similarly we applied to the bathroom features also. Okay. Once we get to know that 2 BHK is more, as where 8 BHK or 12 BHK is less. Okay. Once we get to know that, we'll find that where the bath is more than 10. Okay. Once we did, so we'll use the one hot and cooling for the location. Once it is done, we'll drop that size and the price per square feet with its axis. We'll get the pd.get these values. From that we are going to drop it, and we'll from that, okay, we'll shift it to the like other values. Okay. Once it is done, now we'll build a model now. Okay, with its shape, with its price, and with its bath and the BHK. Okay. Once it is done, we'll be using the k-fold cross valid measure accuracy. Sorry. Okay. From that we'll get to know that how the accuracy it is, whereas we got to know that the all values are more than 80%. Okay. So we can define that this model is 80% accuracy. Okay. By using the grid search CSV, will produce a best model for this, and we got to know that this linear regression is 84 accuracy. Okay. Once it is done, we'll write a code for the predicting the prices by calling defining the functions. Okay. Here, this part is much more applicable for the server thing. Okay. Once we predict it, we'll start doing that. Uh, we'll start predicting the prices of the places. Okay. Once it is done, we'll start to export the pickle file. Why pickle file? We'll get to know that later. Similarly, we'll start exporting this JSON file. Okay. Similarly, we'll get to know that later. Okay. Now we'll go to the backend server, which are used here Flask. Okay. So I have created three models called as client, model, and server. Okay. Where I am going to write here server backend Flask and util backend code. Okay. Where we exported that columns.json. Okay. Here we are going to use it to get the drop down of those places. Okay. Once we run it, we'll run this. Okay. Once we run this, okay, we'll get a link here, which it will show it is not found. But from the application called as Postman, we are going to test it. Okay. Once I copy this link, we'll go to the Postman application. Okay. We'll here post or get. For the post, we'll predict the home prices. When from that link, okay, when I got to know that, it will start predicting the prices by from these values. Okay. Similarly, we'll get the locations. From that link, we'll get to know that. Get the locations names. Okay. Once I send this, here we'll get the locations name. As you can see here, we'll get the locations name. Okay. Now we'll write a front end code. Okay. Similarly, we'll copy this link. And we'll paste it here in a JavaScript. Okay. Here in a JavaScript. Yeah. Here. Okay. Once we pasted it, we are going to run it. And we'll show you how it works. Okay. Once it starts running, we got to know that, okay, which it will link to the direct front end view. Here it is there. Okay. Yeah. Here, as you can see, the front end view of this will just give the values for the area as a 1200 square feet with a 2 BHK with a 2 bath or whichever you want. Here we'll get the locations for the drop down there. As I'm going to select as a 6th phase of KP Nagar. When I click the price, it is going to estimate the price. So this is how it works in the possible ways. Thank you.